You guys, today's topic is one that gets people in a tizzy. But what we're going to talk about is, should virtual assistants send resumes? Woo! You guys, I have seen people get into it in these virtual assistant streets about whether or not someone should send a resume. And so I wanted to share my personal opinion on that matter today. Once again, like I said, this is my personal opinion. Your opinion may differ from mine, and that is perfectly fine. I'm okay with people maybe disagreeing with me. So when it comes to the whole virtual assistants and resume thing, personally, I don't really see it as a big deal to send a resume. Now I know you guys, it seems like the only people who should be sending resumes is employees. That's what everybody says. Like when I see people get into it in these virtual streets about, if you're a virtual assistant, you're an independent contractor, you're a business owner, you shouldn't be sending a resume. But I'm going to tell you why people usually ask for them. From my understanding, the person asking is usually not trying to insult you or your credentials or the fact that you're a business owner or any of that. They're simply asking because this is probably the only way they know. When you think about standard hiring processes, usually it involves sending and receiving a resume. So they're relying on that. So if you truly just don't want to send a resume, maybe use that as a coaching or teaching moment with that person and say, well, I don't really have a resume that I can send you, but I have a portfolio. Now, speaking of portfolio, some virtual assistants do have portfolios that they send, and the client may still turn around, or lead at the time, may turn around and ask for a resume. If you find this happening to you a lot, maybe the question you need to ask yourself is my portfolio showing enough information? Because maybe what I found as a virtual assistant agency owner is that when somebody sends me their portfolio, it does not tell me a good enough story about their experience. And if I take the time to ask them, and I usually do because I realize that people don't sometimes know, when I ask them to also send a resume, then I can verify that they actually do have experience doing what they say they can do. Because sometimes your portfolio does not show that. A lot of times it just shows what you're willing to do, or it says what you're willing to do, but it may not clarify that you can actually do it. And that's where a resume comes into play, because it shows that you've worked with someone else and done these tasks that you claim that you can assist with. The other thing is that I believe some roles or some virtual assistant roles are more likely to require resumes because of the nature of work. And so an example would be if someone is asking or looking for an administrative or customer support assistant. That's not something that's easy to really demonstrate and show in a portfolio. And so in that case, it may be easier to just show a resume because it'll outline or have bullet points of tasks you've done for someone else. Whereas if you're a graphic designer or social media manager, or if you do email marketing, those are things where you can actually take a screenshot and show examples of your work. So in that case, I found that people usually may not ask for a resume because they can typically see what you can do. There are examples of your work. So the other thing that I want to point out, y'all, is that I don't know your financial situation. So for me to sit up here and tell you, oh my gosh, you better not send a resume because you're a business owner, I have no idea what's going on in your life where you may need to send that resume in order to get a project. You may need money, and I would hate to tell you don't send a resume when you're in a situation where you need some money. Do what you need to do. Like I said before, 9 times out of 10, people are not trying to disrespect you by asking for a resume. It's just a standard practice that they're used to. It's what they're used to. That's what most of us are used to. The other thing too, I think it depends on, are you a freelance VA or do you have a VA agency? If you are a freelance VA, that's another situation where they typically might ask for your resume. You will see that especially on platforms like Upwork, or if you're looking for contractual gigs on Indeed.com, certain people will probably ask you for your resume so they can learn more about your skill set. I can even give you an example of, even as a VA agency owner, they asked me if I could send over a resume. And I did. But I did preface it and let them know, like, hey, this resume hasn't been updated since 2017, but I'll go ahead and send it over. I wasn't insulted by it or anything. I sent it over. They just wanted to verify that I was who I said I was. It just made them feel better about it. And that's what, once again, this was a large organization. This is a standard part of their process when they're hiring contractors or, you know, different businesses or whatever. Overall, I just don't want people to let resume sending stand between them and getting started in their business. I think a lot of us are super prideful and we're super proud of being business owners, that sometimes we get caught up in, well, I'm not going to be treated like an employee. And a lot of these people have literally no intention of treating you like an employee. Of course, there are some out there who probably would, and you have to use your own discernment in that situation. But the majority of time when people are asking for that, they mean no harm to you. They are simply just following a standard practice, and they're trying to gauge if you can do what you say you can do. Because what I've learned also, a lot of people who are looking for virtual assistants have, you know, in the process of hiring, someone told them they could do something, and then they hired them and they realized that they actually couldn't. And if they would have just asked for that resume, it probably would have verified that this person does not have experience doing that. So that's another reason, you know, some people have been burned in the process and they don't want that to happen to them again. So overall, you decide what you want to do when it comes sending a resume or not sending a resume. If people are constantly asking you for your resume, once again, like I said before, maybe gauge, is there something missing in your portfolio? Is there something missing on your website that maybe you should strengthen so that people don't have to ask you for that in the future? So anyway, tell me what y'all think. What do y'all believe about the whole resume sending thing? Should virtual assistants send them? Should they not? I look forward to reading the comments, and I'm seriously open to, you know, other people's opinions. I definitely understand the whole why you shouldn't. I do. I'm not going to say that I can't stand on that side and recognize why people may feel the way they do about, well, I'm a business owner, I shouldn't have to. You know, when you're thinking about business owners like painters and hairstylists, they're not sending over resumes. But the other thing, like I mentioned before, they can show examples of their work, usually through pictures. So in that situation, you probably don't have to send a resume because people can see what you can do. Like I said, in other positions where it's admin or customer support, it's not always easy to know. So yeah, thank you guys for watching my video. If this was something that you enjoyed, please like and subscribe. I look forward to providing more content on the virtual assistant world and the different topics surrounding it. I'm Jessica. I'm the virtual assistant advisor, and thank you for watching my video.